hotlink module from scratch. Okay, and then we will explain to you the concept of hotlink module. Essentially, it involves something similar in concept to the XREF that most of you will be familiar with in AutoCAD, right? For Revit also, you can place your family files, you can create groups. In say, for example, other software such as SketchUp, you can have components that you will be copy and pasting throughout your file. And then also, once you update the components, they will update in every instance of it. Or in the very literal, very old sense, for AutoCAD blocks, when you define a block in AutoCAD, as long as you update the block, all instances of the block in your drawings will also update themselves. Okay, so the process is that we are going to create our very own hotlink module. We will place the module, and then we will test how, when you update the parent file, the placed module will also update itself. And lastly, after we are happy with the module, we can publish it as a .mod file. So it's no longer a PLN file, but a MOD file. Okay, so this is the workflow. Essentially, what this means is that for complex projects, just take a look over here, right? If you visualize this as blocks, like HDB blocks, okay? Within each HDB block, you will have typical plans, right? Your unit plans, for example, 4-room flat, 5-room flat, and then they are all existing in the same slab. Okay, so whenever you update your, for example, this is the 4-room flat, and then the 5-room flat, then they will change in each of the level, and also update in each of the block. Okay, so that's generally how you would understand this concept. And then now this is the hands-on already. Okay, so instead of using the default one, let's just create a very new Archicad file, right? So you can use the architectural profile and then click on new. Okay, and what I just want you all to do is, again, this is like a practice, right? So you can create a new wall. Just use the default wall, which is a generic wall. Same thing, hover to the origin, which is the cross. Click here. Oops, make sure that you change this to the chain. So click and hold, and then select this chain. Okay, and then now what you want to do is you will create a 5 meters. So just press enter. Okay, and then same thing over here, 5 meters, enter, and then you go up 5 meters, enter, 5 meters, enter, and this will be 10 meters, right? So automatically it will snap, so I don't need to even type that. I just click here, and then go back to the origin, and it will become a hammer. Hammer means that it will complete it as like a polyline or a poly wall object. Okay, and then it will end the operation. Okay, so I will repeat again so that those who didn't catch it can do it together. what you need to do is click on the wall tool. You click and hold until you choose this polyline. And then you go to the cross, wait for it to have a tick, then click here, then type 5000, enter. Go to the side, 5000, enter. Go up, 5000, enter. Go to the right, 5000, enter. Go down, 10,000, enter. And back here, and click. Okay. So this is our module that we want to create. Okay. So our module is slightly different from the nodes. You don't have to care about that. The most important thing is understanding the concept. Now, we are at the ground floor, right? I want to make this into like a 2-story module. So how do we do that? You click on the arrow tool, and then you right click, and then you show all in 3D to check. Okay, so this is our model, right? Just on the first story. Okay, go back to ground floor. And now we simply just create a door. You don't have to follow exactly the same door as me, but I'll just place them just to make sure that it kind of makes sense. Right, I will have like a door here, and then I will also have a window. Okay, so I'll just place some windows to make sure that it makes sense for this unit type. Okay, later on we will use this door and window placements to also show us how we can manipulate the hotlink module inside a nested file. Okay, so now what we want to do is you will select all of this, whatever that you have created. You don't have to follow exactly what I've done. Then you go over to ground floor view and you right click. And now you want to go to the 1.story. Okay, so I go to the 1.story. This is all empty, right? I can toggle back to my ground floor just by right clicking and selecting which floor I want it to be. Okay, so same thing, I will select all of this. Okay, and then you will Control C, copy, right click, go to first story, and right click, and then paste. So by default, Archicad will paste in place for you. Means it will paste in response to its location based off on the origin. Now let's just go and take a look. Oops, hit paste. Then click on the outside and then go to 3D. So you can now see that we have very quickly pasted it on top. Okay, you will notice that now I never draw slab. So I go back, right click to my ground floor, and I will draw my slab. So I hope you all remember how to draw a slab, right? So you don't have to choose this. You can choose this geometry method, and same thing. You will trace along the outline. Oops. So if you make any mistakes, you can always fix them, like so. And then just double check. Okay, so I have my slab. Okay, so I can simply go back to my ground floor view and go to first story. So now first story has no slab, right? So we want to make this into like a maisonette, right? So I will create a slab tool. Now I just draw this like a rectangle, and I will click from this point to this point. Okay, and then I just need to create a stairs. So I hope you all remember how to create a stairs. So I will just roughly draw how I will want my staircase to be. Oops. Okay, I start from here. Okay, something like this. So, oops, I drew it on the first story. Haha, never mind. So I can select this. I can control X, and then go back to my ground floor. And then I can right click and paste. So same thing. Okay, so this is my nice maisonette that I've designed. So nice. Okay, so I don't need to put railings now because that will be one of the things that I will edit later on. Okay, so you don't have to follow exactly what I've done. As long as you have like a slab, even if you don't draw the staircase, it's fine. Okay, now what I want you to do is I want you to go back to ground floor plan and then just file and save. Okay, so you can save this as my hotlink file first. Okay, so this is just a file, and click save. Okay, so remember to save it. as a PLN file first. The next thing that I will do, I'll go to New File. And I can choose the current profile, right? I don't need to change this anymore. It's the same as this. So just create new. And what Archicad will do, it will run and open a brand new file. Okay, you will notice now that this is different from Revit. Okay, in Revit user interface, when you create a new file, in these tabs, it will add a new file here on the right hand side. So you can have multiple files open in the same Revit program. Okay, but in Archicad it's different. It's like you can only run one instance of the application and one instance of the file. Okay, so I will go now to File, External Content, and I will place my hotlink. Okay, so I will select my module, create a new file from File, and I can choose my hotlink file here. Okay, I'm going to repeat. So I will click File, External Content, Place Hotlink. Okay, click on Place Hotlink. This user interface will come up. What you need to do is to select the module here, and then you go to New Module from File and choose your hotlink file that you just saved. Select. And it will ask you which story of the source project should be placed as a hotlink. So this is interesting because you can choose to place all stories, right? Or you can choose to place one particular floor. Okay, why is this interesting and important? Say, for example, if we go back to these notes again, the analogy, right? As of now, this is the workflow. You have one unit plan that will go to one story plan, and then it will make up one block. Many units will make up one floor, and many floors will make up one block. But what if you also make this into a module, right? So then this module, you can choose which level you want to place in, say, for example, another new block, right? So you know the developers if some of you do those condo projects, right? They will say that, oh, okay, I want this block to have the same unit mix for levels, say 3, 5, 7. Then the next block, I want it to, the next level will become like a swimming pool level and then a gym level instead. So this is how you can make use of this software capabilities to be able to make your life easier. Okay, so you can select the floors. Now, I'm just going to click all floors and click OK, right? And then choose select. Make sure that you don't check this. Okay, what do you mean by nested module? So again, let me just use the internet Russian egg modules. Yes. So, right, have you all ever seen these Russian eggs? Essentially, uh, the this thing is inside this thing, which is also inside this thing. Right? So when you open up the egg itself, they will always be nested within each other, right? But that also means that your egg will become heavier, right? If you have a lot of things that is nested uh, inside like this, right? Of course, you will know that it's very heavy. Okay, so it's the same thing as in the notes, right? On why we shouldn't select nested modules. So that means I will only take, if I go back to the notes again, I will only take this thing, and maybe I will take one level out of it. That's it. I will not go and take even this thing within this thing. You get what I mean? Otherwise, the model will become very, very, very heavy. So we will skip that portion, right? And then, but of course, if say for example, you are running on a fast computer, then it's okay. You can um, always have the nested modules. Okay, so now in this case, because our module is very simple, okay, it's not open. I will not check this. Okay, I will leave this unchecked, which means that I will be able to keep my nesting if I have them. Okay. Now I will click on my module unit, and you can see here whether or not what kind of visibility settings I will want it to be on, right? By default, we can keep them, but if say, for example, you would like to adjust in your modules, you can switch them off and on. It's kind of the same thing as XREF, right? When you do AutoCAD, you can switch on and off what kind of layers you want. Okay, the next thing is orientation. Okay, this is very important. The orientation is always against this origin line, which is the cross, right? And then we can put this, leave it as default, 0, 0, 0 degrees. We will also keep the elevation as in the source structure here for now, right? Because now we are putting it on the ground floor. Later on, if you were to do it in towers, right, then you can place it and adjust. Or you can also add an offset. So if you already know how high it is, then you can just keep and then place as an offset. Okay, so these are all uh, settings that we have. And I will just place the hotlink. Okay, all of you have this. Okay, so they will ask you select which story of the hotlink being placed should correspond to the current story of the host project. So we will keep this 0 to 0. Okay, and just click. Okay, and then now we will go to 3D and just check. Oh, because I didn't click and complete. Oops. Okay, so I just need to place again. And just click on place. The rest, I was just going through the settings, right? And click OK, and then click one more time. Okay, so by default, it will already reference to the origin point. Then you check in 3D. Okay. So I'm going to go back to my ground floor plan. You'll notice that this is up to 6 meters, right? For the second story. Okay, but there is already a second story here. Okay. What we are going to do is, I will do the same thing, file, and then external content, place hotlink, right? So it already has the module that we have earlier on, correct? So now I will not change this. Okay, just now I said you can change this, but I'll not change this. I'll click on place hotlinks, but for here, the story of the hotlink, right? I will try this one. And then you will see here, mark stories of the place hotlink will not be visible because they fall outside of the story range of the host project. Okay, to display all stories of the hotlink, add new stories to the host project. So even though I want to add this to the second story, right? It doesn't work, correct? So what we need to do is we have to go back to our elevation, any elevation. Right? And then we right click and click on elevation settings. Okay, so this you will see your story levels. Right, all of these are your story levels, which you can update accordingly. And then we want to add the levels using story settings. Okay, so I will click on I show you again, design, story settings, or the shortcut is Control 7. And I will insert above this second level. So I'll click, and just add until 5, okay? And click OK. So now you will see that these are all added. And I can go to File, External Content again. I can always toggle to here. Right, File, External Content, place hotlink again. And now you can choose this because it exists already. So can you see here now? What I want is I will have my current story of the host here. And then I will indicate my story. I will start from my 0 and it will go all the way up. If I were to do it like just now, if I click here, then what will happen is it will start from the second story and go down. So why is this useful certain times? In the instances whereby you have your floor already on this story, right? And there is a void. Maybe I will go to Okay, I'll just complete this first to 0 and click OK. And then just go to elevation view. I keep forgetting to press first. Okay, so go to File. So place hotlink. And then choose 0. Click OK. And then press first, click first. Then you go to the elevation. Okay, so this will update itself. So why is this useful? So say, for example, let me just do a screenshot. If your design, right, is something like this is all filled out already. Okay. And that, so there are units here, and then this one over here, also very filled up, filled up, filled up, filled up. Okay. But this one used to be like a sky garden. Okay. Then you can start from here and you will place this level downwards. Instead, starting from here, this design. Okay. Then you can test. Sometimes maybe you don't want to copy all of the levels. Then you will maybe copy only part of the level and then see whether this looks nice. Maybe you think it looks nice, but then your engineer will scold you because he has to do some cantilevering. Okay, but essentially this is what the uh, software allows you to help in the design. Okay, so now what we are going to do is I go to 3D view. So you have a nice, very nice stacked building like this. Okay, and I will file and I will save. And I will call this my hot link module. Hot linked, because there's already links within here. So I save. Can repeat which step? Malati, you want to repeat the placement? Or this one? Okay, so you just go. Okay, I'll undo. I just Control Z. Okay. Okay, so this is my one, right? So what I did is I go to my second story to make this my active story. And then I go to File, External Content, place hotlink again. Place hotlink again. And then now make sure that it's from 0. So you will take from second story and build up. Then you click OK. And left click to complete the file. And then now when you check in your elevation, this will work. Okay, and then the last thing that I just did was to save. Okay, so now what we are going to do is I'm going to go File, because I've already saved this, right, I will open back my hotlink file. Okay, so the cool thing about Archicad is that it will remember what are the last few files that you have created, sorry, you have accessed. And I want to open this hotlink file. So you notice again, you see the Archicad will reset. Like so. Okay. And now I want you to make some changes. Okay, it can be any changes. So for example, I move my window. I have my window, I select my point, and I'll just move it to the corner here. Oops. I only want to move. Okay, so I move here. Then this other window here, same thing, I will move to the corner. Okay. And then I will file and save. So now I have saved this file with the windows at the two corners. Everyone okay? You can be anywhere, okay? So as long as you change something. So now I go back, file, open to my hotlink module. Okay. So at first you will see like this. So what you need to go to do is file, external content, hotlink module manager, right? You will notice here that it will immediately inform you that the original file has been modified. Okay, with this yellow hazard light sign. Okay, I repeat, how do you find this? After you have opened your hot linked module file, you go to File, and then go to External Content and choose Hot Link Module Manager. Okay, and then you will see that this is with a caution sign. So you select this, and then you can update. Okay, and then once this is done, you will click OK, and you will process. And then now it will update itself. Because remember, just now I only changed the window on one floor. Okay, I didn't change on top. So now it will look like this, which is nice, right? So interesting. Okay, so you will also notice, right? If I go back there, File, External Content, Hotlink Module Manager, there's a lot of other commands, right? I can relink. I can open in new instance, means you will open the, it's like, you know, in AutoCAD XREF, right? So you edit in place like that, something like that. Okay. Then relink allows you to take the same location where you used to put this module, and then you put in another design, another module, right? Maybe instead of a tree roof, instead of now this is a measure net, right? You can insert something like a studio apartment, but with high ceiling, double volume, so that it's the same size. Okay. So now you should be very happy because essentially you have already created like a hotlink um, system from scratch. Okay, from scratch, which means you understand even further. Now, what we want to do is we want to make this originally this. Okay, let me screenshot again. This thing now is the exact same thing as this thing, correct? And this is called a hot link PLN file. Okay, remember when we were saving, this is still a PLN format. Okay, Archicad solo project. Okay, but now I want to change this whole thing here into a module file. Okay, so this is slightly different from the notes. The notes already give you a module file, and then you edit and copy from first level to second level, and then you do. Now I teach you the more practical way. Like next time, if you really use Archicad, right, you go HDB or you go SJ, Sabana Jurong, always start off by using this. Then, when you're comfortable, then you make it into the module file. Okay. Most of the times, nobody jump into this one yet. Okay, so now that we have this, okay, we will publish this as a module file. Okay, so just make sure that you have this as a module file. You will, it's the same as the lesson that we did yesterday. Okay, remember you have this publish set. So I want to create a new publisher set. Right, I will create a new publisher set, and I'll call this my mod files. Okay, so click on create, and then you click on publishing properties. So you will see here the same settings that we have done last night, right? So you will want to browse to a destination, to a local file. So I'm just going to make a new folder on my desktop and call it the mod. So it knows that it's supposed to be here. Okay. Oh, okay. So I repeat from scratch. Imagine you are somewhere here. Okay, this is the normal project map. Then you go to the publisher set, right? It could have looked something like this by default. Okay, so you need to click on this arrow up button to go up to the level, and then you click on the publisher to create a new publishing set. Right, and just now what I did is I typed mod files over here. Okay, and then now I will show my organizer. And you can see this is all my view maps from within my hotlink module. Right, all the stories over here. So do all of you have this? Or I need to repeat again? Okay, maybe I delete, okay? I'll delete this. Okay, so now this is the default, right? If you are in any view, it's always here, right? If I go 3D, you see here, this is in this view. This is here. This is when you select project map. Then last night we show you this view map, layout book, and then also the publisher set. Remember? Then what we did last night was that we have the layout book. We went to the master landscape over here, and then we changed the title block. And after that, we go to the publisher set, and then we right click, and then we published, right, all of the contents of, say, for example, this layout set. Right, so you see when I double click on the layout, it will have all of these documents. And similarly, for views, you will have all of these documents. Okay. So what I did just now was I went one level up, right? And I wanted to create a new set called the mod files, and created it. Okay. And then I can double click inside the mod file, and I can either create my own subfolder, like for example story, and I can place different floors, right, inside of each of the publisher sets. see something like this, right? When I go to this publisher set, and then I choose my mod files, I can move either one of them, like this ground floor, or all the floors into this folder here. And they'll be all here. Okay, I repeat again, I close, right? Okay, this is where we left off. Just now, what we did was create a mod files set, double click inside, and then I created a new folder called story, right? After this, I right click on this house button here, right click, and I chose organizer, right? And then you wouldn't see this by default, it will show you something like this. Okay, this and this, right? So you have to click here on publisher sets, then go into your mod files. And this one is because I added it in just now, right? Then I go back to my floor plan here. I select all my files. Oh, in fact, I will not choose all of them. I will choose until here. 0, 1, 2, 3. And then I drag here. Because the rest is extra one. And then I will select all of these files. And I'll click, instead of PDF, they can become module file. Okay, let me try. I think nobody is coming already. So then now I will do this. Okay. So select all of them, click here, and choose the module file. So save elements from all stories. Right, and click OK. And that's it. Now you close this. Or you can just directly click on publish. And then go publisher set properties. Oh, just now because I deleted it and did from scratch, right? So you have to click on browse to local file system, and then go to my mod folder. Okay, and okay. Then you publish. And then now you close. Okay. So now I will close this. This file is already saved. So I will save again. Never mind. And then I will go and file new file. Okay. I'm going to create another new file from scratch. New. And choose current profile. Okay. Can. And then I will launch a new instance of Archicad. Okay. I check this box now, and click new. So now it will open another Archicad over on top of this Archicad that we have just created. But yes, it will be quite slow because of the old hardware. Okay, so this is a brand new file, and you will notice that you have two files, two Archicad open. Okay. Now I want you to go File, External Content, and Place Hotlink. Now you can select your module. Click on New Module. Now you should be quite familiar with it from File. And you go into this folder that you have created just now, Story, and click on this and choose MOD format. And now you have all of your individual flaws in separate module files, which means that you can put in and slot in anywhere you want. So I can select ground floor, select. Okay. And I click OK. And I click select. And I can just place the hotlink. Okay, again, you see here, there is a error, right? Because you need to create the same number of levels. So the keyboard shortcut is Control 7, right? And I click here, I'll just insert, and OK. Now we will repeat the same steps. Then place hotlink. And click OK. And then click again. And now you will place everything inside here. So even though your module files are split into separate floors, right? Do you notice just now when I were placing it, I repeat again, I click here, all stories, entire model. Remember in the beginning, I was saying that you can choose floor by floor, or you can choose all stories. So even though Archicad export to you in the module file all the individual floors, you can click on this. It has the same common logic. It knows that you want to link them together into this mini tower. So that's the interesting thing about this. Okay, and if I can go to my 3D now, right? You can select everything here. And I will just want to end off by showing you that you can manipulate all these floors. And you can, okay, wait. you can mirror a copy. Okay, so for example, click here, and then I click here. And this is how you can very quickly place like either different towers or even different units along a common corridor lah. Okay, so I repeat again. To be super fast, when you want to select multiple floors, right, go to 3D view, select all of the object, then you go to edit, then you move. You can mirror, or of course you can drag a copy. So just now I show you how to mirror, right? Now I will show you drag a copy. Select this, and then you can drag from this point to say this point. Okay, and then you can also select all of this, and then edit. If you can remember, you can also mirror a copy with Ctrl Shift M. So I just want to start from here to here, and it will mirror. Okay. So this is a very quick way of doing this kind of repeated modules. And I guess this is also why the two companies that I said just now choose to use Archicad. Because Archicad is quite stable for repeated and simple designs up to maybe 15 or 20 stories. Okay, and Archicad is quite efficient in its memory management, and it's also very good with Apple, M3, M4 chips. But if you want to talk about super customization, right, then Revit is still slightly ahead because it can handle more complex geometries. You can change your morph tools. That's not sorry, not more. Your GDLs here much more easily, right? Rather than having to create your own uh, new object. This one is much harder to create than a new family in Revit. Okay, which brings me to the point of your lesson on Thursday, right? Your lesson on Thursday is the e-learning, whereby you are supposed to learn how to how this what's that thing called? The GDL works. So it's called parametric object technology. Okay, but that one I will come to later. Let me just put that into the WhatsApp chat group also. Okay, but now I will just take the remaining 5 minutes to do a very quick run through of the rest of the notes. And why I say we start from slide 77, because whatever that we did just now is until 77. Okay, so 77 is BIMCloud. Now I'm going to maximize this. Okay, essentially when you are in your, if you ever use Archicad professionally, right? And then you once you buy the license, they give you free BIMCloud access, which is quite efficient. You will be able to set up your very own um, location in their server. Okay, and by right, it's secure, end-to-end secure, so your files will be safe. And you will create your own user ID. You will go into your dashboard. You can authorize different roles with different levels of authority to edit your files, right? For example, if you have like an intern, right? So the intern maybe can only do certain modeling changes. They cannot change your project template, right? And they also cannot change maybe certain files. Because otherwise, you have one intern and then they play around and then you change all your project template. Maybe some of them very cheeky, they go and change your logo to become some skibidi thing like the logo, right? Then you have to edit it again. Okay. In this system, you can also see who has done what. Okay, so there's an activity, which is why I say it's good security, because you can see exactly like maybe your cheeky intern went to change the title block at what time, and then you'll be able to catch him or her. Okay, then the roles, you can set the roles as I mentioned. So you have architect role, you have draftsman role. So the interns is more often set as a draftsman role with limited powers, right? And the cool thing about this is once you know how to do these modules, right, means with different licenses on different workstations, they can work on different parts of the module. So say, for example, now I go back to this thing, right? Okay, this comprises of the tower view. Maybe the project architect control this whole master plan. He or she is like planning the road system here, right? Think about firefighting access lah, ring road lah. No, this one already very stressful. Then you ask another colleague to go and work on the unit plan concurrently while you're thinking about this. And then he or she will be using the file he or she will be working more on the hotlink file, right? Which is just the unit plan, right? Just the simple one single unit. And whenever he or she finish this, they can send the changes to the cloud. Okay, so under teamwork, and then send the changes. Then it will not crash your computer, okay? Because the project architect still thinking about the firefighting ring road, right? Only when he or she want to receive, then they will click and receive, right? Then after that, you will update into the computer, into your computer here, okay? So that's quite a good working what you call it, workflow, okay? And you can even have different kind of colored workspaces, right? So you can color code different team with different workspaces. So you know that, oh, authorities team is red color, right? You don't even need to know who it is. You already know that whoever that is red color is the authority team. Because sometimes if you work in big firms, right, you have authority team, you have the detailing team, and then you have the competition team. So then you will know who, as in what kind of role they are, even if you don't know the exact name. And then they can also have different kind of settings where you can show what is the changes. So if your color is pink, whatever changes that you have done will also be shown in pink when they receive the changes. Okay. And then finally, if you are happy with the changes, you just share, and then it will sync to the BIMCloud. Okay. But what if sometimes you want to leave the project? So when you leave the project, right, you are no longer having an active file on it. Because sometimes, right, some firms they don't switch off their computer one, right? So you work, then after that, okay, I cannot take it already. I want to go home and eat dinner already. So you leave the file open, right? Then people cannot edit this file. Okay. So what your colleague who sits next to you have to do is have to go and click leave the teamwork project. Then it will release it, put back into the cloud, and then you can edit from there. Okay. Otherwise, you'll be stuck. Okay. Then the rest is just the same thing. You can always add new members, and then they can join the project. And then you can set the roles, and you can adjust again, creating new users, and that's essentially it already. The rest is just showing you how it will actually work when you do that. Okay. This reserve elements is something similar to what I've said just now, right? It's more of the set to the roles. So architects can always, the highest will be the architect role, in which you can reserve certain edits only for certain users, right? Then, so this is just a demonstration. Okay. You can also, yes, you can also text messages, right? So sometimes maybe you are working outsource, right? So if you work with like a local architect, maybe now Singapore is the design architect, right? Then you have a local architect in another time zone. Okay? Then you can leave a message here, and it will indicate according to the GMT time. Okay, then they will know who wanted to do what, and then even have a note as well as a screen area of where you are making the changes. Something like this. The view, you can set a view of the object. So the rest is just further elaboration of what else you can reserve. You can reserve layers and elements. Okay. And the final thing is you can publish all of this as a BIMX file. Okay, you all can try this in your free time. It's the same thing as what we have done in the publisher tools. But what the BIMX file does, right, is that it is like a file in which you do not need Archicad to open anymore. Okay, this file may be quite big, but you can send it to your client, and when they just double click on it, it becomes like a game, right? So you can use the WASD on your keyboard to move around in your 3D model. Okay, so that's more for lay persons to be able to review your BIM project, even without a Archicad license or anything installed on your computer. Yes. Okay, so that's essentially it for the lesson today. And then just the last last thing is I'm going to wait. Just show you all what I said just now. About the e-learning. Okay. Okay, that's this part. Okay, so this is supposed to be part of your e-learning. Just now I briefly mentioned, right, there's GDL, Geometric Description Language. So this is how you are able to create your own family within Archicad. Okay, so you can assign like the geometry as well as even the materials, right? And you make it all from primitives like orthogonal cylinder spheres, or even this kind of extrusions, right? And rotations. Then you will define, for example, where the element point is when you draw the door. And then you can adjust, for example, in this beam, what are the key points here with regards to rotation and the offset. For windows, you can also adjust whether or not you have this kind of profiles here. So it's kind of almost a little bit more uh, customized, right? Uh, than in Revit families. Okay, so again, I give back the same analogy. Okay, Archicad, very easy to start to learn and use in a very simple way, right? So the learning curve is like this only, very simple curve. But Revit is like when you learn, it's like shoo, very stressed, right? But once you get the hang of it, then you can roughly customize a lot of things. Okay. Okay. So it depends on what you are comfortable with. Both are very good and competent BIM softwares. So now I will end the recording.